What is going on, everybody? Happy New Year's. Yes, it is New Year's Day. And we did hear from Coach Nick Sirianni in a press conference, and he revealed the news that we will be resting starters against the Giants in the final game due to there being no real advantage to play them at all. And that's smart. Over the last 3 or 4 days, I had to sit here and fight with people about not playing Saquon Barkley because the rushing record doesn't really matter when we want to put our best foot forward to try to accomplish the team goal of winning a Super Bowl. And credit to Nick, who did the right thing. Now, I did get a chance to interview. Myself and Devin Caney filled in for the WIP morning show on Tuesday, and Nick Sirianni does his standard radio hit at 8:40. So we were able to interview him, and we asked sort of what goes through your mind when coming up with this decision and who makes the final call. And he essentially said, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit though, but it's a team effort. It's about him. It's about Howie. It's about Jeffrey Lurie. It's everybody who comes together and talks about this. And I love that. That is something that should be done within good organizations, is good communication from top to bottom. But one of the things that have been a knock on Nick Sirianni to this point is he doesn't do anything, and he's a CEO head coach that doesn't have much input. And there was once a time where I felt strongly about that, and then he has proven me wrong, and I am completely on the other side now as I watch him go through another journey of winning 13 regular season games and putting this team in a number 2 seed for the NFC when we once saw him put this team in a 1 seed in the NFC and make a Super Bowl appearance. All right, I reacted quickly in the first 4 games. Ever since the bye, he's pretty much been fantastic, so I want to give him the love and appreciation for that. And the reason I bring this up is, this is where, even though you factor in Howie's decision, you factor in Jeffrey Lurie's decision, you factor in maybe Lane Johnson, some of the veterans, especially on the offensive line, who have put in their time and put in their wear and tear that maybe would like an opportunity to sit down and gather some rest. Nick's presence is massive in this discussion. Player coach, CEO, finding that balance, and ultimately not even playing around and messing around. I don't think this was even close, and that's why I love it even more. I think for him to be in a CEO role and for this to always be the way that it was going to be, I love how he stepped up to a difficult conversation to have with certain players, even though it's an easy decision. It's a hard conversation. It's an easy decision. And Nick, finding that balance of being the adult in the room, delivering that message the right way, selling it properly, being a player's coach, all of that combined together, I think he did a tremendous job on the way he's handled it. Even when asked prior to getting a chance to talk to his team, he goes, look, I'm not giving you guys the info before I get a chance to sit down with my players and tell them how I feel. So you'll find out in the next couple of days. But they deserve it first. Even though he knew there's no chance in hell that I am putting him on the football field. I'm just saying, I can see this get uglier in other situations. But it didn't here. And let me be very clear on this. Just because I'm not putting out my guy in Saquon Barkley to go get the rushing record, I get that that doesn't automatically equal a Super Bowl. A Super Bowl is very hard to win. And I'm just going to randomly throw out numbers here. There's no real meaning to the numbers. It's just to sell a story. Let's say it's a 10% chance you win a Super Bowl. 10%. And resting your quality starters in Week 18 now gives you a 12% chance to win. That 2% jump, that's a big jump. Adding 2% to 10% is a massive percentage jump. If it's that tiny, though, of a number, even though it's big in the grand scheme of things, you got to take it. You need every advantage possible. For me, it wasn't really about Saquon getting injured or not, even though there was a chance that maybe he takes a hit, and it could just be a standard hit. Jalen Hurts took a standard hit, and my man is still in the concussion protocol, and that's something we are going to monitor throughout the backstretch of this week. We'll probably see some Tanner McKee action, considering Kenny Pickett has been brutally destroyed with those ribs all throughout the week prior to leading up to Dallas, and then obviously the couple of shots he took in the game against the Cowboys. It was more about rest than anything else. Cam Jurgens is logging in 1,000 snaps. What? Just a nonchalant little 1,000 snap day at the office this season? There's no reason to have your offense out there, your offensive line out there, starters out there. Look around the league at what people are doing. Look at Andy Reid. Look at all these games on the 18th week here and how many guys are sitting down, because it doesn't make any sense to actually play them with or without a record. If you're telling me the difference in you feeling there was something accomplished this season was 100 yards in a useless game against the Giants, then you're not going to appreciate Saquon's greatness anyway, because 2K yards and what he did through 17 weeks is beautiful, and it's great, and it's elite, and it's fantastic. And your opinion, when you look back on this season, shouldn't change because he didn't get 100 rushing yards against a team that's got 3 wins. When you were just going to go out there just to do it, but there's no real benefit from it. It was just the technicality of doing it. But that shouldn't change what you've seen to this point. If you feel this year is that special, and it was from a regular season standpoint, nothing should change based off of this decision by Nick Sirianni. So I'm proud of him. I'm proud of the organization, but I'm not shocked. Look, the Vegas line opened up a couple of days ago with the Eagles being favored by 3. You know, if you're paying any damn attention, if starters were going, and Vegas gets a lot more information than we do, if you're telling me that the Vegas odds makers see this as a 3-point spread, let me tell you something for free. The Eagles ain't playing nobody. The Eagles ain't playing nobody. And good for them, because it's the right move. It doesn't guarantee anything, but this is why I think it's silly to be angry that Nick Sirianni didn't go all in for this accomplishment. Because there are some Eagles fans out there that say, if we were to get knocked out of the playoffs, at least we can result back to appreciating Saquon's season. First off, it's the biggest loser mentality I've ever heard in my life. If you're telling me the Eagles get knocked out early and they don't win the Lombardi Trophy, and then 3 days later go, yeah, but Saquon, I mean, what a joke. What a joke. That is moronic, in my opinion. Not that I won't appreciate his greatness still, but if you have a back that is that good, right? He's that good. He's elite. He's the best. And you fail. I'm pissed off that we failed with something so great. I'm mad that this team, who I feel is competent enough to compete for a championship legitimately, came up small. What are you going to throw a parade and go streaking down Broad Street because Saquon beat Eric Dickerson's numbers? Who cares? That shouldn't care if you fail the ultimate goal. What I would say is this. If there was a world where you could get both the all-time rushing leader in the season, right, and beat Eric Dickerson's number, and also win a Super Bowl, that would be truly awesome. And that wasn't impossible. It was possible. But if I'm then going to peel the layers back again and say, what can I do to put my team in the best position for a playoff run? It's to not play them week 18. Then I'll be okay if it ends up being he gets 2,000 rushing yards and has a little extra rest, a little bit more juice, a little bit more pop, less miles on the tires, less reps and a lot less carries, and now you get a chance with maybe a Green Bay team coming to town, whoever it is in that first game. You haven't had a bye week since week 5. How is that not registering? It's been since week 5. And you have to play an extra playoff game. The only team that I think I can understand throwing talent out there in a, quote, useless game was how the Lions handled things against the Niners. Although you can 1,000% convince me that I wouldn't have done it. But knowing how big the game is against the Vikings and what that stands for, if you're just going to kind of let the flow of this thing go, I get it. I do. I don't think I would do it. But I see that being different than where the Eagles are, where the Chiefs are, where some of these other teams are. I still think there was a monster risk. And if something bad was to happen, we don't say, yo, Dan, that was a stupid calculated risk. And you failed. You failed your team. Like, I mean, that could have backfired big time. But because of the number one seed and the importance of the number one seed and everything playing through Detroit and all that, it's not apples to apples, because then some would say, yeah, but if you're sitting week 18, then you're switching your mindset for your first playoff game. But that's different because it's not regular season week 17 to week 18. It's week 18 to a playoff round, which naturally resets and recalibrates your mindset to a different intensity. So it's not apples to apples. Let me give you guys a little hypothetical, though, that I was thinking about. Because for the crowd, once again, that feels the Eagles missed out on making history, and how that could be something to rest your heart on if they were to not win the Super Bowl and take so much pride in it. Let me hit you with this. Let's pretend the shoe is on the other foot. Let's pretend we live in a world where Zeke is still in his prime. This is prime Dallas Cowboys feed me cereal gif where he's jumping in the Salvation Army stuff, celebrating all that stuff, right? If there was ever a world where the Dallas Cowboys won 13 regular season games with him rushing for 2,000 yards and breaking the record, let's live in La La Land for a sec here. And then they were to lose in the first round. And then a Dallas Cowboys fan walked up to you and said, who cares that we didn't win the Super Bowl? I got to experience Zeke's wonderful record. Loser, idiot, dope, stupid, dumb, and a lot of other things I would love to scream into this microphone right now. That's probably, and I'm just going out on a limb here, but that's probably what your response would be. Exactly. You wouldn't give anybody else props for the season that they had if it resulted in not winning a championship or not giving a resilient effort. Look, if you go to the Super Bowl, if the Eagles go to the Super Bowl, have a 7-point lead, third quarter, epic game, different. But if another opponent did exactly what you're laying out the Eagles to do and they fail early, but hey, at least we got a good... Stop. What is that? It's probably just a defensive mechanism is what it is. It's you trying to find a way to set yourself up, knowing the odds are difficult to win, even though you shouldn't sell yourself short with a roster like this. But if that is the case, and you're trying to build up this defensive mechanism, relax. It's a damn good football team that has a chance to do this because of Saquon's greatness. And for him to get a breather after the workload that he had and no bye week since week 5, if they really wanted to get this, they could. And I'm not just talking about this week 18 game against the Giants. They would have let him go after 2,000 yards against the Cowboys. They would have let him go instead of Saquon Barkley saying, let the young boys eat. I don't know how much Saquon was even putting up a fight, to be honest with you. Now I'm just going off of gut feel and what I've heard. Look, there's some offensive linemen that have taken some serious pride in this, whether it's Jordan Mailata, right? Like he's been very, very, very vocal in the locker room to the media members on how badly he wants it. And that's great. And he probably wants it because of the togetherness, to Nick Sirianni's credit, the way that he's able to build that locker room and the culture. We probably wants it because of Jeff Stoutland. He's the man that says during the broadcast when it's, where did you go to school? Where did you play your ball? My man says Jeff Stoutland University, which is true. I've never played football, but yeah. He probably wants it for Coach Stout. And then on the flip side, your right tackle says, bro, I've been in this league a long time. Please, no. Saquon, I think some fans are more upset than Saquon actually is. I think he probably is closer to how Lane feels. Not body. I think Lane's like, yo, my body's been aching. My body's been through it. I've been going up against TJ Watt. I've seen Micah Parsons. I've seen some sickening talent. I want a breather. And I've earned a breather based off of my resume and what I mean for this team. And I want to be right for our first playoff game. I don't know if Saquon has that same level of look at it, but he's probably somewhere in between Jordan Mailata wanting to do it and Lane Johnson, hey, my body hurts. And somewhere where Nick Sirianni's in the middle, like, hey, I get it. I know what it means for the history books, but you got your 2K and, look, you weren't winning championships in New York. This man, Saquon, didn't even know what a hat and T-shirt game was. He didn't even know what it was. He was unfamiliar with it. So once you sell him the big picture prize, I don't think he needed that much to be convinced. I don't think this is one where Saquon's going back to his family, going back to his kids, going back to his significant other saying, I can't believe Nick Sirianni's a total you-know-what D-bag and he's ruining my chance at history here. I think he goes, hey, listen, I get it. Would I want it? Sure. Could I have gotten it before? Yeah, probably. Could I get it up against the Giants, which would be a storybook ending, and their GM crying and their owner definitely crying? And yeah, probably. But I get it. It's cool. Let's go. We got a playoff game to win. We got this whole week, and we got the following week to get ourselves right, to prepare. I think it was that simple. I really do. So I am so proud. I am super pumped that they made the right decision. But by no means were there ever actually thoughts in my mind that they were going to do anything otherwise. Because this is the most basic, standard way of going about business. This is the right way. Everyone knows it's the right way. You talk to any of these guys, like Rex Ryan, for example, who's been in the league forever, right? Not that everything Rex Ryan says is gospel. This man sucks toes for a living. But, there is a part of, I've been in the locker rooms. I know you rest. All the players say play. All the coaches, GMs, and all that say don't. Because players are always going to have that nature of wanting to be out there on the field. And then all the coaches and whatnot are going to be in the position to want to protect their guys. And once again, put the players in the best position they can be in because they're always want to compete. They always do. That's why they're in the NFL. That's why they have this mindset. They always want to compete. But there are people in place to make sure that they're doing what's right. And this was always what's right. And you know that because I'm starting to hear from the other half. And I say the other half meaning, the people that wanted to see the record happen. And their first response was, I get it. Well, because you knew what was right all along. So don't let the selfishness. I don't know why it sounded weird. But don't let that get in the way of what's best for the Philadelphia Eagles. And remember, this doesn't mean that it's automatically a Super Bowl win. Nobody's guaranteeing a Super Bowl because they're not on the field. What it means is you're getting that added little bonus in an already difficult position. It's already so hard to win. Why set yourself up and put, like if I said right now, just in a way, you can start the playoffs down 7-0, or you can start the playoffs 0-0. What do you prefer? There would be nobody in their right mind that said, I'd take the 7-0 deficit, please. Exactly. You want to make sure your team has the best possible avenue, the best possible route. That's what Nick Sirianni, Howie Roseman, and the whole staff did, and they did their team right by doing it. Will it end up in the championship? We'll find out. But I'm excited to see this team gear up for the playoffs. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for kicking it with me here on Bleacher Report. Once again, Happy New Year's. My thoughts and prayers and everything goes out to everybody who is, going through such a painful, devastating, heartbreaking time out there in New Orleans, because my heart is broken. My heart is broken for everybody involved. And I just want to send my thoughts and prayers to everybody out there and everybody affected. And it's heartbreaking stuff, man. It is gut wrenching. So I want to say my thoughts and prayers. But with that, we are going to end the show here. Thank you guys all so much. And we will be back together Sunday post game to wrap up the regular season. It sure does fly by. Appreciate all your love and support, and we will talk then.